Welcome in, everybody. This week, I'm going to be going through 5 Super Bowl contenders that have been kind of underperforming to the standards that we had for them to start the year. And I'm going to go through and decide if they should panic or if everything is okay. No need to overreact. That being said, let's get right into it. First team we have is the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes, yes, it is time to panic in Cincinnati. Burrow started off slow. He is getting back to the, top 3 quarterback that everyone seems to hold him to. Chase is slowly getting there, but is not. He did not look great the first 2 games. This last game, he looked a lot better from what we expect from Chase, but we need him to get back to his Pro Bowl self. And the running game for the Bengals is basically non-existent, right? The Bengals, let me pull up the stats here. Yeah, 268 rushing yards through 3 games. That is 28th in the league. 28th through 3 games. You're telling me you can't have 100 rushing yards per game? That's pretty bad. And, they have Chase Brown, they have Zach Moss, and they're all right running backs, but they need to either dial something up better to give them better looks. The O-line needs to be better, or I don't know. But the rushing game looks very, very bad. And with everybody running the too high safety defense, you need a running. That's how you beat that. You need a running game to open up the passing game more so those safeties come down to help with the run. And if you have no running game, they can take away your passing game, and then it's just. But your goose is cooked. Your goose is cooked if you can't run against a too high safety defense. And the Bengals just don't have a dependent running game in order to beat that. Now, all that being said, that's not the only reason why that I think it's time for the Bengals to panic. They played the Patriots week 1, were thoroughly outplayed. Burrow looked like garbage. Chase looked like garbage. And you just can't get outscored by the Patriots. You just can't. You can't get outscored by the Patriots, by Jacoby Brissett. You can't get outscored by them. And the Commanders, Jaden Daniels looks like he is him. Jaden Daniels looked amazing. He found his receivers. The defensive coordinator and the defense did a fantastic job with the game plan that they had for the Bengals. And on paper, those 2 teams, those should have been cakewalks. Should have been a cakewalk for the Bengals, but they lost. They got beat, and they got beat not pretty bad, but they didn't look good in the losses. And Chiefs Bengals is like cinema every single time. If the Bengals defender got there just a second later, they would have been fine. They would have won. They'd be 1-2 right now, but still, it's not. It's starting 0-3 is bad for any team in the NFL unless you are a tanking team or your team with a young core, young quarterback. You're starting 0-3 is bad for anybody. But it's worse for the Bengals because they are in arguably the hardest division in football. The AFC North. You have the Steelers sitting up top right now, and then you have. Let me look that up. Yeah, the Steelers are 3-0, which I might need to make a video about them, figure out what the hell's going on. Yeah, you got Steelers, Ravens, Browns, Bengals, and the Bengals haven't even played any of them yet. They haven't had to play the people in their division yet, and it's just the Steelers look all right. That defense still looks as crazy as ever, and Fields is being an average quarterback, which is what they need. And I mean, they're 3-0. Their defense has held through 3 weeks to 26 points. 26 points total. That is fucking insane. 26 points total. The Ravens, actually, the Ravens are my next team, so we'll talk about them next. But the Browns, I think the Bengals pretty easily beat the Browns, but I also thought they pretty easily beat the Commanders and Patriots. So it's not looking good. It's time to panic in Cincinnati. I wouldn't be surprised if Chase continues playing like this. I'm not surprised if he's gone next year because he is up for his contract extension, but at the same time, it's Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I wouldn't be surprised if they ended the year 14-3. I wouldn't. It's either a bad start or it's a bad omen for things to come. But yes, I think it is time to panic in Cincinnati. Now, next team, the Ravens in the same division, 1-2, not nearly as bad as a start, but I don't think it's time for the Ravens to panic. They are the most penalized team in the league by a lot. The defense is trending towards they can't close out games properly, right? Gave up a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter to the Raiders. And then the Cowboys almost came all the way back in the fourth quarter against that defense. So that is a little bit of a question mark. The penalties, those can easily get cleaned up. Just line up properly. Don't do stupid stuff in the secondary. It's very simple fixes, but the defensive coordinator needs to have a word, or Harbaugh, jeez, I butchered that, or the head coach needs to have a conversation with the defensive coordinator about like, hey, we can't be losing in these big leads in the fourth quarter, which the past few years that has been a problem for the Ravens. It wasn't like a 20-point lead or something 2 years ago to the Dolphins they gave up. Like it was something insane. But despite all those issues, they still have two-time MVP Lamar Jackson. They have damn near prime Derrick Henry, which is crazy, by the way, that Derrick Henry is still this effective when he's this old. And they have an elite rushing defense. Let me pull up the stats real quick. They have held their opponent to 53 rushing attempts, 2.8 average rushing yards, and 150 rushing yards total. That is an insane rushing defense. The teams cannot rush the ball against them. They can pass the ball, but they cannot rush the ball against them. And Lamar, let's look at how many passing yards does Lamar have? Lamar has 700 passing yards through 3 games. That is the 10th most in the league. And that's really good, especially for a quarterback that people, a running quarterback. He's a running back. He can't throw the ball. He's throwing the ball well and effectively. And the offensive line is also protecting Jackson. They have I think 3 sacks on the year. Just crazy. Of course, a lot of that is Lamar being able to escape the pocket, escape pressure, but that offensive line is giving him time to read defenses and throw the ball. And not only that, that offensive line is letting them have one of the best rushing offenses in the NFL with Lamar and Derrick Henry, which I don't know how you couldn't have one of the best rushing defenses without Lamar and Derrick Henry. But yeah, it's not time to panic in Baltimore yet. They're 1-2, again, very hard division, but they are second in the division. And a lot of the reasons they're losing these games is because they are the most penalized team in the NFL. So if they clean that up, I think they will be just fine. Next team, the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, it is time to panic in Dallas. The Cowboys' home record since 2016, they have been top 5 with at home. They have been top 5 at home since 2016. That's before Dak and CeeDee and everything. The Cowboys don't want to see the Cowboys at home, especially in a playoff game, but you get blown out back to back. Back-to-back weeks, you get blown out at home. One by the Saints, which is crazy, and two by the Ravens, less crazy, but still 28-6 at halftime or whatever it was. Like, you can't. Come on, you're supposed to be a juggernaut of the NFC. You get blown out back-to-back games and at home. Like, that's crazy. The rushing game, I said, you guys can go look at overreacting to week one. I said the rushing game is better than I thought it was. The rushing game is bottom 2 in all categories. All categories, they are bottom 2 in the NFL. And I said it with the Bengals, I say it with the Cowboys. You need to be able to run the ball in order to successfully pass the ball. And they can't run the ball. They are not successful running the ball. They're just not. We saw in this last game, you can get under CD's skin. You can take him out of you can get him in his own head and take him out of the game. When he's performing bad, he'll get frustrated, and you can rely on that. And Dak starting to look like playoff Dak, stupid mistakes, just overall some sloppy play in these games from Dak. And McCarthy, I think you can ask any Cowboy fan, and they hate McCarthy, and they have wanted him gone for the past few years. Like, it's just he's not a great head coach. He's not a great head coach. Me personally, I was very surprised when they paid Dak and decided to run it back with this core last year after that embarrassment that happened in the playoffs. I'm very, very surprised that they ran it back. But, you're bringing back that same roster, that same 12-win guaranteed team, and I thought they were going to be a force. But you get blown out in back-to-back games. It might be time to panic. Because just the vibes are off in Dallas. And again, they're a juggernaut. I wouldn't be surprised if they end the year 14-3 or whatever. Like, they're on paper one of the best constructed rosters in the NFL, but they're the Cowboys. They just crumble in games, and there's just no real reason for that to be happening. So, yes, it is time to panic in Dallas. Oh, I'm stupid. So, when I said 5 teams? That was a lie. I only have 4 teams. 4 teams that have just underperformed. The Super Bowl contenders that have underperformed. But last team, the San Francisco 49ers. Now, this one, not yet. Don't panic yet. Now, they lost to the Rams, who didn't have Kupp or Nakua. And we got Hufunga back, which we basically had our best defense out there, other than Greenlaw, who is still injured. And they don't have their 2 best players, and you lose that game. And Shanahan, I'm sure you all saw the stat a few years ago, that the 49ers are like 17-0 against the Rams, like in their past matchups since Shanahan got there. We had a lead. We had a chance to make it to extend the lead. Moody missed the field goal, and really our defense kind of just fell apart in the fourth quarter. And Ayuk looks horrible. McCaffrey is in Germany about his leg, I saw, per Adam Schefter. Debo is injury prone, and he's out again. And Shanahan, once again, is getting in his own way. Shanahan loves dialing up all these cute plays, these like trick, reverse sweeps, all this stuff, like 2-yard screens. When you he goes away from what's working when it's working and then tries to do too much. He gets in his own head. We saw it in the Super Bowl. We saw it in an NFC Championship game. I've seen it year in, year out with Shanahan, and I'm tired of it. And he's already started, and it's week 3. The only reason I say it's not time to panic yet is because Brock Purdy looks fucking fantastic. Brock Purdy looks great, okay? Purdy was, I think, 22 for 30 in the last game. And 6 of those misses were dropped passes. And he was without Kittle, Debo, Trent Williams protecting his blind side, or his safety valve in McCaffrey. And he was as efficient and as good as any other quarterback in the NFL. Brock Purdy looks fucking great. Jordan Mason is proving he can rush for 100 yards every single week. He's proving he is a good starter quality running back. And Fred Warner is playing like the defensive player of the year. Now, they have a positive point differential and they have a losing record. I think the only other one is the Broncos. I think the only other one to do that is the Broncos. They clean some stuff up. They get their key players back. They're going to be just fine. It's not time to panic yet. Now, if McCaffrey's out for an extended period of time, not even that. If McCaffrey's out, like out, and Debo keeps getting keeps battling injuries, I don't think we can win the Super Bowl, which is why they're like in this not yet, because they get everybody back. No need to panic. It's okay. McCaffrey goes out for a while. Debo doesn't come back. It might be time, even if Greenlaw doesn't come back this year, I think it might be time to start getting nervous. Not panicking, but getting nervous. Because if we couldn't win the Super Bowl with everybody healthy, minus Greenlaw, then I don't know what's going to happen. But those are the 4 teams that are Super Bowl contenders that have been underperforming, in my opinion. And whether or not they should panic, I'm going to release a video later this week talking about the biggest surprise this season in the Minnesota Vikings. So look forward to that if you are a Vikings fan. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you have not already. Leave a comment what you want me to talk about or what you want me to open for my card opening videos. And I appreciate you all for watching. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you all later. Peace.